All right, welcome back to Ripe Avocados. Today we've got episode 18. We've got a very interesting one, CADDO Lake, a new Max original. So, pretty excited about this one. It's going to embrace a lot of debate here. Let's jump right into it and see what we score it.
Daydream, I fell asleep amid the flowers for a couple of hours on a beautiful day.
So, CADDO Lake follows two main characters pretty much. It's Paris Lang and Ellie Bennett. Ellie Lang, apparently. But basically, the two characters are both searching for answers in one way or another. Dylan O'Brien's character, Paris Lang, is trying to find out what happened to his mother. And he's trying to figure out what happened to her the whole movie. And on the flip side, Ellie is trying to find her, adopted or stepsister, Anna, who is missing one random day. And both the characters, Ellie and Paris, are both searching for these two people at the same time, it seems like. But of course the stories, it gets very non-linear, and we start time warping, and basically they end up looking for the same person.
Yeah, this is our first time travel movie that we've done, and that's obviously, we're gonna have spoilers here, but you would think I would like this, but I fucking hated this movie because
That's so crazy.
it's a direct ripoff of the Netflix show Dark, which is one of my, we haven't talked about this on this show, but I fucking love Dark. It's one of my favorite shows of all time. And they didn't do, I'll give them credit here. They literally just copied the entire script and took out, they changed the characters a little bit, or a lot. I mean, they're just completely different names and whatnot. Dark is a German show, but it's literally a direct ripoff that's turned into a movie. And
yeah, but Dark doesn't have Dylan O'Brien.
Yeah, that's probably the one plus. I couldn't look past it, but again, I'll judge it on the surface. So characters, I gave this a 4 for characters. We don't have a plethora of them, which I like, right? There's only basically 4 that really matter. It's Ellie and it's Paris, who we see simultaneously in this non-linear fashion, almost going throughout their lives trying to find answers to their lineage, like you mentioned.
Yeah. And
we have Anna, who's Ellie's little sister, who happens to be Paris's mother, and she ends up time traveling back in time on CADDO Lake, because apparently whenever there's a drought, that's when they're able to time travel. It creates this sort of portal on the lake, which is horribly explained. They try and show this rope. I'll save this for the writing, but whatever. Just characters wise, none of these characters to me were memorable in any sort of way. I don't think they're badly acted at all. I thought Ellie's actress, I actually don't know her name, and I've seen her in one other thing that I should have looked on IMDb prior to this.
Eliza Scanlon is her name. Dude, she reminded me of Ruth Langmore from Ozarks. I don't know if you've ever seen that show.
Isn't Ruth Jason Bateman's wife?
No. She's
she's
the
the
blonde, curly-headed girl.
Yes. She's the best character in that show. I've only seen the first season of Ozark. I think I watched the first episode of season 2. I loved the first season. I just never watched it after that. Okay, so no. She's in Sharp Objects. That's what I know her from. She plays Amma. Did you ever watch that with Amy Adams?
No.
She's it's a miniseries, but she plays Amy Adams' like little sister in that show, which is kind of ironic. She's like a nut. That's a good show, but for a different time. So we have these two characters that are the leads, and again, they're not bad. They're just not poor actors. I just hate the originality of this whole thing, so I will not be able to look at this without clouded judgment. And whatever, like Paris, I guess is a good lead. Dylan O'Brien's a good actor. Don't get me
Hey,
wrong.
this is by far the best Paris we've seen on screen.
Yeah, that's
based on the
true.
last couple movies.
I was debating though which role was a better acted role. Was it Dylan O'Brien in this movie, or was it Dylan O'Brien in that one Taylor Swift music video? It was really up in the air for me. And I don't even like Taylor Swift. I'm just ripping. I just hated how much this copied Dark, but the characters weren't. They weren't bad. Like, again,
I mean,
I'm
they
just
were
repeating
4-0
myself.
to you, so
They were a 4-0. They were average as fuck. Like, they were fine. Like, they all had family drama, and I don't know, man. I just thought it was like very, very cliche. Like, we see all these characters that like come from broken families, and why? Oh, it's because they're time traveling. Oh, I wonder why that is. Oh, okay. It's not like something else has done this before. So that's what I'm gonna go with my character.
All right, so clearly you hated this movie because,
Of course I did.
yeah,
Yes.
I thoroughly enjoyed it, but I'll start off with characters here, or actually, wait, yeah, I'll start with characters here. Characters, I went 7-2. Like I thoroughly enjoyed the characters. I thought the girl that played Ellie did an amazing job, and like her whole like drama and turmoil with her family and her mom especially, like they portrayed that really well. This movie, so when I was starting it out, or I guess I'll save that for writing, fuck, but no, I'm just gonna roll with it.
Just
fuck it.
say it,
Dude,
yeah.
this movie, when it started out, as it progressed, it made me think of different movies, and I was like, oh, okay, this kind of seems like this kind of seems like that. So when it first started out, I was getting Memento vibes. Then I started getting, I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Coherence.
No, isn't that Tom Cruise?
No. It's basically like, it's actually a really good movie. It's yeah, Tom Cruise just fucking threw that out there.
He's in everything.
Yeah. Isn't this
Does he scale a building in that one?
Yeah. The wrong Tom, but yeah. But basically, it's like this movie. These people are having like dinner at one house, and a comet is going over, and it basically fucks with the time, or
Okay.
it fucks with like different like it's a multiverse type movie, but it's like they see themselves out the window like doing stuff that like they would be doing. So like when Ellie was in the house and she saw herself pull up in the boat, I was like, oh shit, this is giving me Coherence vibes right here. And then like 15 minutes later, as the movie keeps progressing, I'm like, oh, this is literally Dark from Netflix. This is just what this movie is. But I've only seen the first season of Dark, and I enjoyed it, but I never watched past it. So I like that kind of story, and this story got me hooked. But back to the characters, I love Dylan O'Brien. Dude, it's Styles Stilinski. Like, that's the fucking man. He also almost died when filming the Maze Runner trilogy or whatever, so I feel for him.
I
anything
mix
he
up
put-
him and Logan Lerman all the time.
Yeah, apparently they're like boys. They're like always hanging out with each other.
Yeah, they probably are like from the same family or something, like separated
Yeah,
at birth.
Logan
They look
Lerman
so
is
similar.
Dylan O'Brien's dad, and
Yeah,
He-
maybe Dylan O'Brien's dad was time traveled back in time.
Yeah,
and, like, It's
exactly.
the same person or something. I don't know.
But yeah, I thought the characters were fine. Like again, I just kind of have a bias for Dylan O'Brien. I like a lot of the stuff he's in. I fucking love the Maze Runner movies, even though 2 and 3 are really fucking bad, but they're like cheesy enough to where it's an entertaining movie. And then again, I binged Teen Wolf for some reason as like a 27-year-old man, but I thoroughly enjoyed the movie or the show as background noise. So I definitely have bias towards Dylan O'Brien. Like I said, Ellie played her character, or the lady that played Ellie played it really well. And then I thought the the mom was played really well, Celeste. I thought she did a great job, and even like her younger self was played really well. I just thought it was all. I just thought it was. They played it really well, but it was nothing groundbreaking. So I feel like
Right.
6-1 is a fair score.
Right. Yeah. Celeste is in that that show on Apple TV, the one with Ron
Oh,
Weasley.
Yeah,
Servant,
the M. Night
yeah.
Shyamalan Servant. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the only other thing I've seen her in. Yeah, she was fine. I guess she's in Yellow Jackets too. I haven't watched that yet.
Oh,
But
they
I
just
know-
added that to Netflix, the first season, even though the second season's
finally.
out. But yeah,
Well, Ebo's been telling us to watch that for a minute. I haven't.
well,
been
I
able
watched
to
the
because
first season on
Okay.
like Epics or whatever the fuck it's on, some like random.
It's Showtime.
No,
isn't it?
no.
Well, it's a Showtime
It's
original.
not Epics, but we're gonna get to the bottom of
Dude,
this
it's a
right
Showtime
now.
show. That
Are you
Yellow
serious?
Jackets. Yeah, it is.
Oh, okay. Well, whatever. I didn't have Showtime before, and I got it to watch the first season of that when it came out, but then.
Brother, you're not in the minority there. No one has.
Dude, it's like it's like the show From. I'm watching
Yeah.
this show From. It's so fucking good. If you
Yeah.
haven't seen From, you need to watch it. It's like Lost, pretty much. The way like that first season just pulls you in. You don't know what the fuck's going on. It's exactly like that. And I'm on season 3. The only problem, it's on MGM Plus. It's like, who
Yeah.
the fuck has this channel?
It's crazy. Yeah, you recommended it to me. I saw like the first 3 episodes, and then my week trial ran out. So then I just didn't keep watching it. So, yeah, I don't know, man. So like, characters. Just to wrap that up, like they're fine. You kind of nailed it on the head. They're not groundbreaking, but no bad actors. No pun intended either. Like the characters they're fine. Cinematography, I gave it a 6.1. There were cool elements to this. I thought it was shot pretty clean. Like the camera work was pretty nice. A lot of close-up shots. Honestly, like panoramic shots, or that's probably not even the right word, but them getting onto these little skeet boats, or what do they call them? Skiffs? I think it's skiffs.
Yeah, I have no idea. John B would know.
Yeah, John B would have made this movie a lot better, in my opinion.
Paris
It
versus
would've-
Paris.
Yeah, it would have just become like so ridiculous that I would have probably gotten on board more. But no, again, no pun intended with the boat. a lot of swampiness, a lot of like it just takes place on CADDO Lake. And there's a good amount of nighttime shots that are a little eerie, I guess. Like the first time when they're simultaneously hearing the clanging and hear I only say clanging because I watched it with subtitles, and I didn't even realize that like something bad was happening until it said like loud noise clanging in the subtitles. And Ellie like stood up on her boat and she like looked, and then Dylan O'Brien did the same thing, and I was like, oh shit, something's about to go down. Maybe that was, again, that's probably, I'll save this for writing, but I just think this movie lacked like anything remotely terrifying that could have made it way better, which Dark does excellently well.
This is
So-
just a dark glaze fest.
It should be. It should be. This movie is a direct plagiarism of Dark, and it Americanizes it and makes it ass. So yeah, I'll go
like
6-1.
like a lot of American remakes do, I will say.
They do. If
Yeah.
like as much as we were suggesting From, I mean, I'll give my full glaze fest for Dark when we get into the writing, but the music was fine. Like no bangers that I can remember. It wasn't anything like
No Sabrina Carpenter or Taylor Swift.
yeah. Yep. Was there Sabrina Carpenter in this movie?
Yeah, she was Ellie.
Oh, that flew right over my head. Yeah, no, I just didn't think it did a whole lot. The one positive thing I thought was cool was the sound effects they used when they were jumping through time. I thought that was kind of neat.
Yeah, the muffled noises or whatever.
Yeah, and a lot of J.J. Abrams lens flares, and that was pretty much it. That's cinematography here.
Yeah.
Anything to add?
No, I'm literally in the same ballpark. So I think I originally had said my characters was 7-2, and then I think I accidentally said 6-1. That's because
No,
that's
you
my
said 7-2.
Okay, I said 7-2. Okay, so my cinematography score is the same as yours. It's a 6-1.
Okay.
Again, like it was shot in like an Everglades type setting. Like that was pretty cool. Like riding the boats around into like the swamp marshy area, which is where the like time warping vortex was, or whatever the fuck you want to call it, a portal almost.
Yeah.
The dark ripoff, but basically, like, again, the cinematography was nothing special. It was like above average, I guess, because there was no real corny CGI. I guess besides the dam breaking and the water rushing through, but
The wolves, bro. Those were real wolves.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. Jon Snow was riding one of them.
I saw Liam Neeson hiding behind a tree.
Just like a pen in hand, ready to fucking pounce. But yeah, again, nothing really crazy to add to the cinematography story besides it was a 6-1. It was fine.
I don't even. What did you give writing? What do you think I gave writing?
I think you gave writing a 0-0 because it's literally plagiarized from. Okay.
No. I gave writing a 1-5. So
Wow.
it's just a direct plagiarism, like I said. There were a couple things that I thought were cool. Like, there was a twist. Like, obviously the time travel thing we're not told about right away. But even the stuff you're talking about when Ellie's the actual one that steals the boat, that is literally a scene from Dark. It's like the first episode, I think, in season 2, where like one of the characters does something that affects that. Like, whatever. But the one of the positive things was Dylan O'Brien and Ellie are just, I'm just going to call him Dylan O'Brien because that's how memorable that character was. They're simultaneously like leading the story arc or whatever, and we're not aware that they're in different time periods the whole time because it's somewhat modern. Like Dylan O'Brien's in 2003, and also I think they just do a good job.
It's 2005 and 2022.
No, it's okay. Well, whatever. It's same type, same area of time where you see Ellie go back to that time period and like she's using Internet Explorer, and I thought that was like a funny way of indicating like we're using this trashy clunky internet on like a big ass computer, and his dad was actually like watching TV. His dad was watching TV on that like old ass TV, but they also do a good job of having them live in like the bumfuck nowhere Hicktown or whatever.
So
where
you don't know,
you're not really. The technology is all sparse anyways, or at least for me, I just assume it's like that because I'm not from that area. So if something's portrayed, it just shows you how feeble-minded I am. Like, oh yeah, it must be the Deep South in present day, but it's only like 12 or
the
20
Deep South
years
is like 20 years behind.
Mm-hmm. So that was cool, but other than that, man, I mean, it's just. Like, you could have done this whole time travel thing, but the way that they lapse the parents, that's exactly what Dark does. There's a character that goes back in time, and I'm sorry if you've not seen Dark, like, stop listening right now and just go watch it because it's way better, and it's a fantastic show. But there's a character that goes back in time and ends up becoming a father to the main character in the show. But the main character wants to go back and save his friend. And then once he realizes it's his dad, he literally can't do that. And it becomes this endless loop, which they kind of scratch the surface of. But that was my whole problem, is they just sort of... The last, like, 40 minutes of the movie is just them riding around on these skiff boats, not saying anything, until the very end when Ellie, like, shows her the picture, when she looks up the picture of Anna, and we see that she's in 1952. Which, again, like... I'm pretty sure that's the exact... Because Dark goes in series of 33 years, and I'm pretty sure 1952 is one of the exact years that they go back in time to, because it's like 2019, 86... Yeah. No, my math is so bad off the top of my head. 86 minus 33.
I can see the gears turning in your head.
53. It's 53.
Oh, see, it's different.
Yeah. It's literally 1 year off. That's how much of a fuck you this was to the writers over there. But it's the same concept. But the other thing that it lacked too is in Dark, there's these over time that it gets so convoluted to where there are time travelers going through and intentionally making sure that shit happens one way, so that it turns into a much scarier.
So that's just the
Ultimate.
TVA. So Dark ripped off MCU.
No, no. It just didn't. This movie would have done way better if it had an element of like someone
Originality?
trying to mess with someone trying to mess with like the characters and make their timeline correct, which is what happens in that show, where there's someone that's actually evil who's trying to literally kill people to prevent certain timelines from occurring. And it's just I obviously could not look past this, and it completely clouded my judgment of this movie. There's just zero originality to me, other than the one part I mentioned where you're seeing the two timelines at first and you're not really sure which one's present day and which one isn't, and then you do figure that out. I just didn't think they did a great job of explaining it either. The whole rope thing in the swamp or in the lake was so just unexplained. Like, she just has the rope go through a bunch of trees. Ellie literally doesn't know like what year she's in until she like goes to the library. She's just kind of they're all just kind of like jumping through time loops, and they're not really sure like what year they're even in.
I think the rope
was
thing
so
was just
confusing.
like her idea of like a Hansel and Gretel type of leaving breadcrumbs to make sure she can get back to where she started.
I know that's what they were doing, but they must have jumped through that time loop like 10 times each in that last part of the movie. And first of all, how is she not running into Dylan O'Brien's character? They're both in the same spot, just going through it. They're hearing each other's voices. That was really dumb. And I don't know, like the rope cuts itself when the water goes. The whole water thing was stupid to me too. Like, if you're gonna make a portal, if you're gonna do a time travel, just make a fucking portal. Like, at a certain point in time, I get it. I don't know, man. I just didn't think it was well explained.
I really hate this movie, bro.
I just didn't think it was well explained. Like, they're trying to rejudicate it at the end by showing you how the alligator got cut in half. I didn't really give a shit about that. That was really dumb. The bugs that were from like an extinct period of time were showing up. Like, I get it as soon as you explain it's time travel. Like, you don't have to show me the bugs flying through and disappearing. Like, I understood that part. I didn't give two shits about the bugs. I just wanted, it would have been cool if Dylan O'Brien just like went back in time. I don't know. Nothing of this movie would have been cool. I just hated it so much.
Like, you wanted them to explain the time warp that they knew nothing about.
Dude, it just lacked an antagonist. I think that's what it... There was no antagonist. The problem was, oh, Dylan O'Brien's mom's dead, and Ellie doesn't know who her dad is. Oh, wait, it's Dylan O'Brien. Oh, wait, his mom's still dead, and he can't do anything about it. So, and then talk about the most... I won't say the R word. Talk about the dumbest death of all time since probably Samuel L. Jackson and The Rock and the other guys. When he just jumps off a fucking bridge. What the fuck was that? What was that?
I mean, he couldn't get taken in.
Why? Like, why did he jump off? Why did he kill himself?
He
That
wanted to
made
get
no
back
sense.
to his time.
But he just died immediately. That wasn't even where the time portal was. It wasn't at the bridge. It was
Well, yeah,
at the lake.
he was trying to swim to it.
In a hurricane?
Bro, he was out of options. And he was handcuffed, but like, he's dedicated.
Yeah, that was just a whole lot of nonsense in my opinion. I did not care for the ending at all. Like, even when he's trying to escape like the hospital or the police station and whatnot, so predictable that he's gonna get away from there.
Yeah.
I just couldn't stand any of this movie, man. It would have made more, like, I'm not gonna just keep going back to Dark, but
that
like,
scene
they
when
have
he's in the-
good antagonists, and that's why it's scary and it's also mysterious. I just think it works better in a TV show, obviously, because they're able to reveal bits of information at a time, to where Ellie and Dylan O'Brien are just like figuring this out in the last 30 minutes while driving around their skiff boats. That's all that happened. They're not even like explaining it to the viewers. Like, I get that Anna is born in 1952, but I don't know.
Well, no,
man.
she's
It's just
not
lazy.
born in 1952.
Well, she grew up in
yeah.
1952.
No,
Yeah.
there's clearly like plot holes in this movie. Like, how did Celeste? I mean, I guess she eventually recognizes the fact that Ellie was the girl that she hurt or whatever in the parking lot. But it's like, I don't know. If she was so torn up about like Paris leaving, maybe she was just suppressing that memory and trying to forget about all that. But like, I feel like she would maybe recognize Ellie being a spitting image of literally a twin of the girl she attacked. But then also on the flip side, like, I mean, Anna was not like a baby when she got lost. Like, she was born in 2022, or not born in 2000. She grew up in 2022 and it was dropped off in 1952. Like, I feel like she would be admitted into a psychiatric ward or something, because how is she just going from her life in 2022 and like living a normal life in 1952?
Bro, that's what happens in Dark. Is the kid goes back in time and he's so lost, and so he gets adopted and they realize that he's not from this time. Like, it's so much better explained. It's the whole aspect of him dealing with it's like a 9-year-old kid figuring out that I can't even go back in time. Like, I have the ability to, but if I do, then my son won't be born. And he figures this all out. But they don't even show Anna conscious. Oh, I guess they show her like at the boat when Ellie finds her, which was I didn't really understand that either, because we had 2 linear time periods where Ellie was stabbed with a tree branch or whatever, and then another one where she's fine in the boat. Like, why didn't Ellie just try and take her back through the time portal? Because at that point, Ellie didn't know that she was Paris's mom. She didn't.
Yeah, there was that weird thing where like Ellie went back like a day. She like stepped through the time portal or something and then went back, and then because that's when she steals her own boat. So it was like that was a weird time jump too, where it's like it's not really explained how far back you go, or if it's like set in 1952 and set in 2005 and 2022 or whatever the fuck it is. But also note, so back to that hospital scene you were talking about, that was probably crazy for the dad, because assuming that Dylan O'Brien died in 2005 and then his dad is like in the hospital bed and he sees his son like over him, like saying, "Hey dad, I found mom. She's okay." That dad probably thought he was like dead at that point.
Yeah.
He probably thought his soul left his body and he's seeing his dead son talking about
he made a
his
deal with
mom
the
being-
devil.
Yeah. He's got a black eye and handcuffs on.
So Celeste
Yeah.
is the same woman that Dylan O'Brien is in love with, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Which was crazy for her when she saw him too.
Yeah.
When he GTA like 5 ripped homeboy out of the car, and Daniel, he like rips him out of the car and Celeste is in the passenger seat and she gets out. Dylan O'Brien's like, get out of the car, because he's driving away from the hospital.
She should have just said like, what the fuck? Like, that's my baby daddy right there.
I mean, bro, they're in the South. They should have just like shot him at that point.
They tried to.
Yeah,
They tried
honestly.
to. Oh my god. I hated this movie. You didn't give your writing score though.
Oh, so writing, I gave it a 6.5. Like, I get it. You like Dark, and this is a ripoff of it, but it's literally like an hour, 30 minutes in a movie. And they're like, it was a fun movie. It was entertaining, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. The writing though, like, wasn't fantastic. Like we had talked about, there are little plot holes here and there that kind of make you think that doesn't really make sense, but okay, whatever, I'm just going with it. There were a couple scenes. Oh, I also gave writing a lower score because it was pretty predictable. I figured out the like whole nonlinear timeline pretty quickly when they were showing like separate scenes of them riding the boat, but it's like the same exact shot of them and like different times of the day. I'm like, okay, so clearly it's a nonlinear timeline, but like, where's the movie actually going? And then once the second they introduced the time warp thing, I was like, okay, wait, someone is someone's parent, because that's exactly how these movies go and exactly how Dark goes and all that stuff. So it was pretty predictable in that sense, but again, it was just entertaining for me. So I was fine with the writing. That's why I gave it a 6.5.
Being as nice as I can be, I think it would have helped it a lot if there was a scene where Ellie and Paris meet, and they don't. They hint that it's going to happen the whole time. It's probably a deleted scene, and the writers are like, "No, we can't put this in." Like, no, fuck you guys. I just couldn't stand this movie at all, man. My entertainment score is, I actually didn't write anything down because it's like, if you have not seen Dark, you'll probably like it if you like this sort of, if you like time travel stuff, which there are a category of people that just cannot deal with time travel movies, which I think is kind of weird, but when they're done correctly, they're done pretty well. This one's done fucking terribly. So I'll go like 3.5 for entertainment, just because like there's some cool parts to it, I guess. Like the CGI dam exploding. It does hook you from the beginning. The whole car scene in the beginning when his mom, Dylan O'Brien and his mom die. Dude, the necklace thing was really fucking thrown in there too. Like,
Yeah.
her leaving the necklace on the trail, and I didn't even notice the necklace like the first time it's shown in the movie, which was probably the opening scene when his mom dies. Do they show it before Ellie like notices the necklace? She's like, "Where did you get this? Where'd you get this?"
I don't know. I can't remember.
Because Dylan O'Brien sees it at one point. He finds it out there because we see Ellie drop it on like a tree branch while she's,
Or it gets snagged or something like that.
she's making like a Dora the Explorer map with a rope in like the middle of the woods. Also, again, dude, Dylan O'Brien literally sees the rope, and he doesn't go and try and find out what's on the end of that. They just should have had the characters meet up. I think it would have made more sense.
Well, doesn't he go to the one end of the rope, and that's where he gets Ellie's boat, right?
Right, but he doesn't run into Ellie herself. There had to be that point of them realizing, oh my god, we want to save the same person here, but if we do, then none of this can work. Again, exactly what Dark does, but it's dark. It's way darker because there's people that are just trying to ensure people are dying. Also, that actually has a legitimate time machine that's built in a certain time period, and the way the portals are made is more explained. It's a more specified point. It's like a cave, but it's on a cycle similar to the. I just didn't really.
You sound like a crazy person explaining this.
I just didn't really get the whole like dam having to be low for that to work. I thought that was, they were trying to do something cool, but I just didn't think it really worked. Like the whole water thing to me just didn't really make a whole lot of sense. Like, why does that have to determine this portal? Which again, the portal was not even like an 8x10 area. It was like, it seemed to be this vast part of this wooded area, and there was no indicator of like what year they're going to when they're just jumping through these time lapses. Also, they're getting bloody noses and shit, and animals are dying from going through these, which again, Dark does exactly that. Like their eardrums get ruptured when they go through this. So I just fucking hated this movie, and I will never watch it again.
That's so crazy. Holy shit. You just went on like a 5-minute rant there at the end. Just it turned from this movie was like, okay, people who like time travel shit might like it, to just Dark is way superior, it's the best thing in the world, and then you know what? Fuck this movie. I fucking hate it.
I did. I really did. I mean, people who have seen Dark will get triggered if they watch this. So just if you want to hate watch it, go right ahead. You will fucking hate it. I don't know. Like we've done a lot of good American remakes. Like The Office is one that comes to mind. This is just the bottom of the list. This should never.
We've done
good
a
thing
lot
they
of
didn't
shitty
release it to
American
theaters.
remakes though. Old
Yeah,
Boy, that was really fucking bad.
Yeah.
There's got to be more. I'm just not thinking off the top of my head, but yeah, okay. So my entertainment.
What did I
score,
say? 3.5 or 3.0?
Something low.
I'm gonna go 2.9. I just don't even remember what I said. 2.9 is what we'll go with. That's so generous too. I'm just giving that score based off of if I've never seen like anything time travel wise. I might get something out of it.
That's crazy to me. Entertainment score for me was an 8.0. I think it just breaks that cusp where it's a movie that I would recommend to someone if they want to spend an hour 30 minutes and just enjoy a movie that has that non-linear timeline. It's got elements of time travel, but it's like nothing crazy. Again, like all the things you harked on where it's like the fact that it's not like an 8x10 portal, like I don't mind that. Like it's just part of the movie. Like, so what, the drought causes the portal?
I just thought it was so messy. It didn't make sense. Like when you have these, I love fantasy, I love science fiction, but it has to make sense. And that whole thing did not make sense. Why the fuck is the rope getting cut at the very end? Like Ellie's literally jumping through time like Michael J. Fox, and she's not getting her arm, like she should get her arm amputated during one.
Yeah, but that's because it was a drought. It only cut off when the water flushed in.
But she didn't know that. Only Dylan O'Brien is the one with the map, like writing down the days where the drought is. And he figured this out like accidentally. I don't know, man. I just hated this movie. I just hated it.
That's so crazy. I thought it was entertaining. Like I would recommend this to someone that like as a decent movie, like as a decent watch.
I just was waiting
your
for
whole
it to
thing with
all
like
wrap up.
I don't think it needed an antagonist. It was just like them trying to find that was the plot of the story. Them trying to find answers. Her trying to find Anna, and also him trying to find answers about his mom, who is Anna.
I think you mentioned it correctly though when you said you knew what was going to happen with the whole writing when it was wrapping up. I just knew that Anna cannot be in two places at one time, or neither of these people will be alive. So either we're going to have this ultimatum scene where they figure that out. Nah, let's just drive around on boats in a swamp and then cry and look out in the open water and then figure it out. Like, I knew what was going to happen for the last hour of the movie. I just was waiting for it to end. It was so ass.
Bro, you are a hater, man.
I hate this movie. Don't watch this
man.
movie. If you've seen Dark, you'll thank me later. You'll get a kick out of it of how much they try to rip it off, though. If they didn't,
it is like a 1-by-1 copy, but like if you don't want to spend 3 seasons of a German show dubbed in English, like this is a fine 1 hour 30-minute movie, and it's entertaining enough to where you'll enjoy it.
Yeah. What's your opinion?
Oh,
But
my
I mean,
God.
I don't mind the parody. Like some people will like this, some people won't.
Nah, bro, stick to your guns. Just keep shitting on it.
I fucking hated it. I mean,
Yeah.
I've said my bit. The reasons have been named. This got a final score of a 5.3, which is
Above the fives.
heavily inflated by Sean's ratings here. I could have
Nah,
probably
heavily
gone even,
deflated by your ratings. You know
Yeah,
what? Fuck it.
that
This
is-
movie was a 10-0.
This you gave this a higher entertainment score than Blink Twice, which is crazy to me. Blink Twice is a far better movie than this, even though that whole concept has been. I don't know, man. I
Bro,
just
that's a
think
direct rip-off of the Diddy situation and Epstein.
this whole it just lacked. It had no originality to me, which was the biggest problem, and it could have used pieces of other things and made it a little bit more of its own. I really think it lacked any bit of thrill or horror to it, which it kind of had in the beginning. There was a little bit of mystery, I guess, and I like I said, I was kind of hooked from the beginning. A little bit of horror. I just think it would have made it a lot better if there was something in the water, like hiding out there. Maybe there's some. I don't know, man. I'm not gonna try and fix this plot. It's just a broken plot.
Something hiding in the water. That's what you wanted in this movie?
No, just like figuratively. Like maybe there's a killer in that area that's trying to correct timelines. But again, that's just ripping off one of my favorite shows of all time. And I'm just trying
you wanted it to be dark, but not.
Right. Just give me another season of that, and I'm cool.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to go rewatch that show now.
I'm gonna have to rewatch CADDO Lake.
Oh my god. So yeah, so that's gonna wrap up this one. Again, 5.3. All of our reviews will be linked in our podcast description and on our YouTube. And
oh wait, sorry. I did just want to say, I thought it was hilarious when Dylan O'Brien went back to 1952 and he asked them what year it was, which was a good question. But in my head, I'm like, bro, it's the fucking 40s or 50s right now. Like, these dudes are dressed like, I mean, look at them. They're wearing like parachute pants and like wife beaters and driving around like a 1950 truck. It's like,
it was very weird. There was also not any scenes really of him exploring that time period, right?
No.
I
mean, bro, it's an hour 30
budget.
minutes of a movie. Yeah.
What the hell was the whole deal with the seizure thing, too? What the fuck was that?
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know about that.
Nonsense. Just nonsense, bro.
Well, okay, no, the seizures must have been because they, like, once you go through the time warp, you have that.
When was that explained?
I mean,
we see Ellie
we
randomly get them.
Well,
like, randomly.
But it's instantly when they go through. Ellie gets it when she goes through.
She get it like a couple times, dude. She didn't get it every time. It just it wasn't. It was just bad. It was just so bad.
Bro,
so
you're just a hater, man.
I'm such a hater.
Yeah,
I will never watch this trash again. But I will.
I'm gonna watch it right after this.
All right. I would go back in time and never watch this again if I could. If I really could, I would do that. So that's going to wrap up this episode, number 18 here at Ripe Avocados. We will be back next week with a very hot movie. I think we're going to do Joker 2. So
fuck yeah.
That's going to get some of the best scores of all time. Sean and I are going to sing that entire episode. And we will be back next week. So stay tuned for that. And until next time, peace out.
Deuces.